What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and I'm here with John, and I'm here with Ben. Ben, it's an absolute pleasure to have you on the stream. Like, I'm absolutely over the moon to have someone who's much better looking than Johnny's. Probably will attract the ladies to the channel. And I don't have some fat, overweight scouse bloke who's called Bacon's got a night tick in his hair and a 25-year-old haircut anymore on the channel. So welcome to the channel, Ben.
Cheers, Michael, mate. It's a pleasure to be here. Just hide me like sick now from the side.
And John, how are you, mate? You alright?
Yeah, I'm sorry, mate. You?
Oh, mate, I'm loving the, I'm loving the rock and roll, as you referred to me on your vlog. Absolutely destroyed me. Lads, you know why we're here. So this is our buy, sell and keep video. So, you know, who do we want to buy? What targets do we want to identify? Who do we want to trim out the squad? And equally, how much money can we save in wages? And equally, how much money can potentially go towards a bigger transfer kitty? I don't know if you both saw the other day, but the Esk, I don't watch everything he puts out and I don't read everything he puts out, but he did show that Everton have got another overdraft facility for this summer, so it does suggest that there will be a decent pot of money for Everton to spend. So first and foremost, let's just go through our current squad and see what we sell and keep. I'm going to leave this pretty much down to you two because a lot of people know my opinions on a lot of the players and I've done a lot of these. So John, this is your turn to lead. So we're going to go with Jordan Pickford to start with, John.
Well, it doesn't give me confidence, to be fair. Jordan Pickford, he's made too many mistakes, but he's too cocky and arrogant with it as well. I mean, he laughs at himself with the mistakes he's made. He done it the other week with the one that went through his legs and he got it on the line. If a good enough offer comes in, let's be honest about it, whether he's going to be England number one, I don't know anymore the way he's been performing. But he is an England international goalkeeper. You know, he has been playing for England regularly. He's been in the squads. But if the right sum of money comes in for Jordan Pickford, I would have no qualms in him leaving the club.
Fair enough.
Ben?
Yeah, I was going to say, you're going to ask Ben. Jesus Christ, John.
So your opinion on Pickford, Ben, what do you think? Do you think he's too big for his boots? Do you think if we'll accept a bit if he comes in, and do you think he has a future at the club still?
Jordan Pickford is one of the most infuriating players there in the football club for me. The potential, the ability is there. But like you said, John, he's cocky, he's arrogant. When he first came that first season, I thought he was brilliant.
Yeah.
He can make a match-winning save and then a second later flap across.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's difficult. I would personally give him one more year, and I think Carlo and Grant will give him that one more year to prove himself. I think we invested £30 million for a young goalkeeper. Like you said, he's England's number one. He just needs to just stop playing up to the crowd, stop being big bollocks, just crack on and just work hard on dealing with the basics, because he can show world-class ability, but he can also be a crass and cost us points.
I think it all come from Ben when he had that really, really good World Cup. And he come back and he was playing really, really well. But if he was chocolate, he'd eat himself after that. Now, I don't know if you heard the rumour, apparently he was walking around Finch Farm like he was the fucking dog's bollocks.
So he came back a bit cocky. But another problem we've got is, who's pushing him for that place? We've got Stecklenberg, who's like a hologram, he had 2 penalty saves against City, brilliant. But I seen him in pre-season, the ball just goes through, he's shite. Yeah. Too old, done. Yao Virginia went to Reading, shite, he sent him back, said he was crap, so...
This is the thing, I think it's the same, not just with Pickford, I think it's the same with any player. If they haven't got decent, someone who's decent enough pushing them for their place, then they do get a bit complacent. And I think that's what Pickford's done. He's got no decent competition behind him. So basically he knows, doesn't matter how many cock-ups he does, he knows he's going to be picked every Saturday.
Yeah, I think the hardest position to fill in a squad is the goalkeeper number 2. Who wants to come to a club and do fuck all?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, who we get in, there's been a few names mentioned, thrown around, obviously all over Twitter. We've got Lucas Perry from, Sao Paulo, is it? Sao Paulo, yeah. Palace's 4th goalkeeper, choice goalkeeper, so he's got a £40 million buyout clause, but we're not going to pay that, so what the fuck's that about?
Yeah. I'm not going to spend £40 million for the keeper who's going to sit on the bench.
No. All right, and lads, so I think we're all in agreement then Jordan Pickford gets one more year. Yeah?
For me, yeah, one more year, and if not, he can go.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll fly through the other two because we have literally just discussed them and we already know one's leaving anyway. So Martin Stecklenburg, he joins Ajax at the end of the season. I wish him well. 2 saves against Man City is probably the highlight of his Everton career. That's about it on Martin Stecklenburg, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, came in, did a job, happy to sit on the bench, probably again more 35 grand a week. Not a bad living, is it? So
no. Well, Virginia, as we said, he didn't pull up any trees at Reading. So for me, I don't know how long Everton will give players like Virginia time to grow and adapt. So for me, he would go just because I don't see the point in being there. But what's your 2 thoughts?
Well, I think Virginia, if Everton do bring, if Secklum goes, then obviously we are going to bring some sort of goalkeeper in, because I can't see us sticking with Pickford and Virginia, to be fair. I think we'll bring someone in who will be an understudy to Pickford, and I think Virginia will be given another 12, 18 months to be number 3.
Remember, just to double check, unless I'm losing my mind, but Lossell's only on loan, isn't he?
No, we bought Lossell, but he's on loan at Huddersfield.
Yeah.
He's coming back, isn't he?
Yeah, that's it. So, do you think Lossell will be number 2 next year?
Yeah. Well, probably. I mean, is he good enough for a number 2? We don't know. But as Ben says there, you're not going to get a fantastic goalkeeper as a number 2 understudy.
No, fair enough. Right, then we move on to defence. This is going to be a very quick one, this particular one. Mason Holgate.
Go on, John.
Without a doubt. For me, he's been our most improved player this season. Dominic Calvert-Lewin was in the running for that. I know he's up front, we haven't got there yet, but Mason Holgate's come on leaps and bounds. And what the good thing about Mason Holgate as well is he can play in centre midfield. So, and he does a job in centre midfield. I would have had no qualms throwing him in there if Yerry Mina and Michael Keane were both fit, and we needed him there. I would have put him there. Mason Holgate stays for me all day, Ben.
Yeah, Mason Holgate, key for me. Future potential Everton captain, I think.
Yeah.
It also shows the benefits of the loan system instead of the under-23s. Now, David Undreff, okay, fair enough, you have to go there, but the competition's not good enough. It just shows Mason Holgate goes to West Brom, having that year there, the way he improved leaps and bounds. It just shows that championship is there for players to go on loan, get that experience. It's a dogfight in the lower leagues, and I think he needed that toughening up. And he's come back, different player, brilliant, unbelievable on the ball. Like you said, John, he could be even good in midfield.
Yeah.
He's probably our best.
What's happened there?
Ben's got a call.
Right, okay. Can you pause it then?
No.
Sorry, I'm still back.
Yeah, you're back. Don't worry.
He's brilliant, mate. As you said, central midfielder, can play anywhere, put 100% in, can pass the ball, get stuck in, and puts a foot in. That's all he wants. Someone who's going to get stuck in, lift the crowd up, and go from there. For me, definitely key.
Yeah.
You know he's 100% every game, don't you? You don't get that with all players.
Yeah. No. Right, let's fly through these. Michael Keane. So before his run of games in this, since we've come back, I was more than happy to sell him. I was more than happy to get rid of him. But he has changed my opinion. He's played a lot better. So for me, I'd keep Michael Keane.
He wouldn't be one of me first out the door. I think he has come out and said, no, he did have a few mental health problems, Michael Keane. I think he had them before the lockdown with the football. I think since it started again. I think Michael Keane's one of these players. If the crowd are getting on his back, it does affect him.
Yeah.
I think while there's been no crowd there, for me, listen, he's still made some dodgy decisions and some mistakes in the games, but he's nowhere near as bad as he was. So for me, Michael Keane does stay as well, even if he is just a good squad player. Do you know what I mean? He won't be happy sitting on the bench. He's been representing England quite a few times recently, so I don't think there will be any rush to sell Michael Keane, Ben.
Yeah, it's up in the air with me, Keane. He's brilliant in a deep playing defence line.
Yeah.
So if you're playing deep like the likes of Burnley, he's brilliant. He wins every fucking header.
Yeah.
He just wins every header. It's just, if the ball goes in the box, his head is there after lockdown. I don't know what's going on. He's winning everything.
Yeah.
But £30 million, I can't see. He hasn't shown enough for me yet. But do we want to be playing deep? For me, no. I'd rather play like a higher line, have a bit more chance at the back. Because then you're going to push defences back, midfielders back, or midfielders aren't going to be as deep. Like you said, squad player, keep. But if the interest is there, if the right price comes in, I'd be tempted to sell.
What's the right price?
In this market now, after COVID, and all football clubs are going to be affected, it's £15-20 million for me, and I think I'd be happy to sell. Is he good to come on after 80 minutes to see out the win? Probably, yeah, and trying to hold out straight the wins.
Yeah.
But for me, there's targets there, which I hope we can get over the line. And if we can't get the targets in, keep, definitely. But if he can come in, he might be the one to sacrifice for me.
Yeah, I don't think Yeli's going anywhere anytime soon, is he, to be fair?
No.
Yeah, so that brings me on to Yerry Mina. John?
Big
Yelly.
Mina's had, since he's come into the club, he's had a lot of fits and starts. Yerry Mina, you know, he's been in, then he got injured again, he was out for quite a while, he got injured in training, then he come back, then he was out again, now he's out again. We need a good pre-season for Yerry Mina, you know, and I think it hasn't helped Yerry Mina with having the central defender next to him, chopping and changing as well. You know, he's played with Michael Keane there, he's played with Mason Holgate, Brandtwaite's now in playing alongside Michael Keane, so I think Yerry Mina needs a stable partner alongside him. Do you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, he does frighten me when he's got the ball. I'm not going to say he's in the same mode as Mohamed Sakho, who come from Liverpool, went to Palace. He was very erratic on the ball, and he still is. I think Mina's better than him, but he does worry me in a way. But to keep him, yeah, would you?
Yeah, I'd love Everton next year to play a 3-5-2 if they had the bollocks to do it, and I'd like to see Mina as the centre of the three at the back.
Yeah.
Wins headers. I like your comparison with Sakho. He is a bit erratic at times, and he is picking up stupid knocks. But he's dangerous, he's tall, and he wins headers again. You have Holgate on the right of a free, Mina in the middle, and if we can get that left-sided centre half over the line, I think we'd be really in a strong position. But this Brandtwaite come from nowhere.
Hey, honestly, I love him. Honestly, Ben, you're so much better than John. I mean, you've led it on perfect there. Fucking brilliant. Honestly. Honest to God, honestly, John, you can fuck off the channel. Yeah, Brathwaite then. Ben, you've started, mate. You crack on.
When he came on the other day, I thought, fucking look at the size of that twat. He's an absolute monster.
Yeah.
Look at Michael Keane, 6'4", and he looked the same size of him and built at 18.
Yeah.
And some of them balls, even against Aston Villa, left-footed, bang straight out to Lucas Dean, and he was in whipping balls. And we haven't had that left-sided centre-half. We've had two right-footed players who can't play that round the back ball. And he looks so cool and I don't want to get overly excited. I don't like putting pressure on these kids. If we're doing this keep selling, he's got to stay for me, keep all day, and we'd be getting loaning out Lewis Gibson again for me.
Yeah, to be honest, I totally agree. He stays for me. I don't think he'll be going anywhere. You know, he signed for us in January. He's already been given a new contract. That's how highly the club think of him. And you know what we said about Marcel Brands, but he is a top find by Brands, to be fair. You know, I watched the game again the other day, and the headers he was winning. Do you know what I mean? But he gets distance on them as well. He's a big lad, and as I said on my match reaction after the game the other day, he looks like a seasoned professional in the Premier League already.
Yeah, I haven't seen him on the 10 as much yet. We haven't come up against a team like the likes of Vardy or someone like that. I don't know what he's like pace-wise, but I feel like he's reading the game very, very well.
Yeah.
So you might get that extra half a yard. So, like I said, he's been brilliant, and he's given the fans something to have a laugh and joke about all over Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
Okay, so, Brandtwaite stays. we've got a couple more players in defence to talk about. I'm going to leave the obvious and the one that will mean the most to me to the last player. But let's go with Djibril Sidibe. For me, he leaves. I don't give a toss. I'll leave this short and sweet. He can fuck off.
Yeah. Well, do you know what? I agree. I haven't got nothing to say about the man. I'd rather have John Joe Kenny there than Djibril.
We already know, John. We already know.
We've all heard your famous quote.
Oh, mate.
Yeah, fucking hell.
He's shit.
Do you know what? It's mad because John is one of the most blandest people you'll ever meet, Ben. But yet he's had a video on TikTok of 1.2 million views, and he had that one which got 500,000 views, and yet no subscribers come to the channel off the back of that. So fucking hell, John, sort it out.
I should have stuck to the TikTok, as you said. It might have meant something or something would have happened, but
yeah. Well, I'm glad your missus is on it.
As Michael knows, I'm not that sort of person. It doesn't bother me, all that, you know what I mean?
That's why I walked around the fan zone asking for seeing if people know who he is. We've got Seamus Coleman next. He stays, but we definitely need a new right back, which we'll talk about in a minute. But Seamus stays for me. An extra season, an extra couple of years, he's probably got still. What do you think, Ben?
Seamus Coleman. You look at 2013 to 16, him and Baines were probably the best fullbacks in the Prem.
Yeah.
And the likes of United were coming in for him. He was brilliant. He had that horrific injury. And I think even before lockdown, for me, I used to hate him coming on. Back to Sidibe, he started off so well back in November. But he was getting good assists, and then it's like Space Jam's happened, and he's lost all his powers. And I wanted him, but now he's gone. But Coleman, for me, he's got to stay. I want a bit more from him though, as the cat. I want just a bit more. I'm fed up with the same shit he comes out with every week.
Yeah.
It's like a rallying cry. Do something about it. Tell them to get a fucking grip of themselves.
He said that. I think that was after the last game, wasn't it? The other week when he done the interview, and he said, "Look, this manager won't take none of that." He says, "If you don't perform, you're out. You're gone." But he said that a few times, Seamus.
Yeah.
He has said it a few times. Do it on the pitch.
Post lockdown, he's been one of our better players for me, Coleman.
Yeah, he has. I think. Sorry, Michael. After the injury, he wasn't the player he was before the injury, but I think slowly but surely he is finding his feet again. And listen, I don't think he'll ever be the Seamus Coleman before the injury. He will never be. But I think he's good enough, as Michael said, to keep for another season or what have you.
Yeah, I agree. Keep Seamus Coleman all day, yeah.
Right, we move on to our left back, someone who served our club phenomenally. He signed a new deal until the end of this season, but it's still up in the air whether he's going to sign next season. Leighton Baines. Obviously, it might not be our choice to sell, keep, or anything, but for me, just down to the sheer professionalism of Baines, I'd give him a contract to the day he retires. I absolutely adore that man. I think he is a symbol of Everton Football Club. He is prepared to be gobby. I remember him calling out Martinez after a game as the Everton manager, saying, "We don't defend." And Martinez crucified him, and everyone backed Baines. So for me, if I was Everton, I'd give him a contract to the day he retires, and then I'd even give him a coaching contract. What about you two?
I'd like to see him get a contract till the day he retires, but I don't think Everton do that anymore. If you look at how Ozzy and Hibbo got released, I think the sentiment side of Everton has probably gone over the last few years. And listen, that's not a pop at them, because Everton have always been one of the most sentimental clubs towards their players, and we've done what we can for them. But if you look at some of the top teams who we're aspiring to chase down, they don't have that sentiment. So for me, I have no problem with Leighton Baines. I did say to Michael Ben that if he was going to stay beyond this season, I think he probably would have signed a contract by now.
Yeah, we all know the 1 year deal's on the table for Baines. Now, he's obviously thinking, am I going to spend time with my family? Can I be bothered with a whole new pre-season again? Getting all up to date. There's COVID come back in. it's a difficult one, but I'd be desperate to keep Leighton Baines. I want to win. I want Everton to win him a trophy.
Yeah.
He's been there for years. I'm just begging him to do one more year.
Yeah.
Get stuck in. Let's just get an FA Cup, Carling Cup. Wouldn't give a shit. I'd be out for weeks for the Carling Cup win. Get him a trophy that because he's been, like you said, a fantastic servant, and I hope he stays long term as a coach.
You know what? He's a good understudy as well. I mean, when he's had to come in, I mean, I know Luca Dean had went off the boil a bit because he lost his granddad apparently, and Leighton Baines come in. And you know what? It looked like he'd been playing there every week. He just come in, he slotted in, he was putting good performances in. As you say, will he be prepared? Because let's be honest about it, he is going to be number 2 to Luca Dean.
Yeah.
Will he be prepared to have a shortened pre-season?
Yeah.
Come back training again to probably 80% of next season, if not more, to sit on the bench? Or will he look to finish his career in America? Now, we know he's had opportunities to do that before. I think that boat has probably sailed now to go to America. So he's got a decision to make. Does he take that contract or does he retire?
Yeah, but the only positive thing is, I think, is the club have obviously identified centre-back, centre midfielder, right wing.
Right winger.
Yeah. And this kid from France, who is apparently a good prospect, he's not ready, is he?
No.
And I think he's a long-term project in.
Yeah.
Obviously winning the battle from Juventus and teams like that. But is he ready to be number 2 left back? Probably not.
No.
So I'm hoping he signs that deal.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I think we're agreed on that, yeah.
Right, I'm going to skip through this one so you two don't have to worry. This is an obvious answer. Luca Dean, he obviously stays for all 3, I'm assuming. We'll just skip straight past him. Let's get into midfield because, Jesus Christ, I mean, John's already took up about fucking 50 fucking years of talking of this shit. So, he's going to have a field day here. Let's start with Fabian Delph. For me, he leaves. Honestly, now Leeds have been promoted, I'd take a couple of million quid. I'd get him straight off the wage bill, and he can fuck off. What do you think, Ben?
I think Fabian Delph, he needs to sell for me.
Yeah.
The fans, that's it, dislike him straight away, doing stupid things. I know we can't control what they do in the private lives, but it's a difficult one for me. He just doesn't do the right things, responding to people on Instagram, just being a gobshite. That's not the Everton way for me. I don't care what they were like at Man City, playing with the best of the best, winning trophies. All we ask for is efforts and commitments. You look at like Richarlison, he's fucking in with all the kids, helping everyone. That's what we're about, Everton, the community. Delph, for me, hasn't done that. Now, last year, I was happy that we signed him, I thought. Both bit of experience, but he's been shite. And like you said, Leeds, even Villa, if they go down or stay up, it could do a job for somebody like that for me. I'd be selling all day.
I think Fabian Delph coming to Everton thinking he was the biggest fish in the big pond. I think because he's brought obviously he's got a winning mentality from when he was at City. He hasn't seemed to have brought that into Everton. I think he thinks he's too big.
Yeah.
Because he's had the success that he's had. Obviously, he's probably looked around and he's looked at the players he's playing with. And I think he's the sort of fella who'll think, fucking Tom Davis, I'm playing next to here. Gylfi Sigurdsson, Morgan Schneiderlin, why the fuck should I fucking try?
Yeah.
I know Brands did chase him. He even visited his house. He showed him the project, and it just hasn't worked out for Fabian Delph. He probably won't be on pennies neither. He'll be on a good wedge. So for me, he goes.
Yeah.
Gylfi Sigurdsson?
The ghost.
I don't even need to comment. I'm telling you now, if somebody offered me, I tell you what, if somebody said we'll just pay his wages, just like Schneiderlin, we'll pay his wages and you let him go for barely anything, I would.
Sigurdsson's one of the top earners, isn't he? Obviously, 100k plus a week.
Yeah.
£50 million deal he came for, big signing on fee. We probably invested over 70 million on him, really thinking about it, with transfer fees and for me, he hasn't really done. I know at the time they were after Giroud, Llorente, they were going for that sort of cross-headed goal, set plays, and set pieces, but he just hasn't performed. He's a lazy bastard.
Yeah.
He's better as a number 10, as you seen the other day against Sheffield United, free in midfield.
Yeah.
He likes time. He doesn't want to put the work in, and we've got too many luxury players for me at Everton. So for me, I'd be selling him.
I think my take on Gylfi Sigurdsson is there's been a few clips where he just points. He doesn't want the ball. To me, he doesn't want the ball, as you say. He wants to be a ghost. He doesn't want to be involved in the game. All he does is score the odd free kick, which is a wonder goal, but I don't even think he's done that this season. What did he actually give this team this season? And I said to you the other day in the private message about Hojbjerg, I know we're going to get onto that, about we should have kept Schneider instead of getting Hojbjerg. I've looked into it. It was probably a stupid comment, but I'll tell you something now. I would have kept Schneider before Sigurdsson.
Yeah, well, like you said, Schneider's probably the best pass to the ball. He could attack him, he could play that centre mid role. Sigurdsson is a 10. For me, he plays the deep line midfield for Iceland, doesn't he? In like a 3 again, I believe. Yeah. But he needs the players around him to do the work. He's not willing to do the work. And like you said, that probably kept Schneider over him. But he wants to go to France, didn't he? Back home with his family and another one off the books.
Yeah. We move on to Andre Gomes. Again, Andre Gomes stays. And before his game, I actually hadn't think Gomes had a great season. I know he got his injury halfway through, but even before that, he wasn't great. But then I did see, when Davis did a lot more of the work against Sheffield United, and Sigurdsson to a degree ran around, it allowed Gomes time on the ball to pass that. He made some exquisite passes all over the park. So for me, Gomes stays, and actually, it makes me look at what we do in the transfer market, seeing how good he can be. And if we can get that on a regular basis, Everton will move forward a lot quicker. So, Ben, what do you think of Gomes? Obviously, he stays.
Yeah, keep all day. He's another one, though, I think he gets Everton, gets the fans, knows what we expect. But like you said, he'd only had the 1 assist pre-injury. And for the central midfielder, it's not good enough.
No.
He's another luxury player for me now. He's the one you want to get the ball to, spread the play, but he need like an Idrissa Gueye, win the ball back, pass it to him.
Yeah.
Spray the balls out wide. He's a look. We've got too many luxury players. When you start Sigurdsson and Gomes, they won't do the work, neither of them.
Yeah.
So you've got 2 playmakers who will not win you the ball back, leaving a massive void in the middle.
Yeah.
And we need that. Like I said before, the 3-5-2 for me would be perfect for Gomes. You have 2 people around him. One's going to do the work, and the other one's going to make space for him to get the ball and break. Because he can pass, he can do it. Like you've seen against Sheffield United, so it's a keep for me.
Well, it's a keep for me, and you must have read my mind there on two counts, to be fair, because I think Gomes went poor when Idrissa Gueye left, because he needs that player alongside him to do the donkey work. And we seen the other night, as you say, when he had Tom Davis with us, who was doing a bit more of that spade work in the middle. Gomes was spraying the balls around that we used to see, and over the top, bringing players into play, looking to go forwards because he wasn't scared about leaving a gap because he had cover behind him. Gomes is a much better player when he's got an Idrissa Gueye near him. I've always liked Decore. Whether we'll get him, I don't know. But what I mean is that sort of player. Andre Gomes would be absolutely fantastic with someone like Decore.
Like a box-to-box midfielder.
Yeah, because it's the work off him, and he can do his flair and his passes. He hasn't got to run. As Michael said, he wasn't having a great season before the injury. But the other night, I think I said this on the live stream, we seen glimpses of the Andre Gomes on loan.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I think full pre-season, I think he'll come good next season with someone else with him.
Yeah, you look back to that game in Anfield last year. I know the fucking T-Rex arms fucked it up at the end, but he took the piss, Gomes, against what probably maybe one of the best midfields in the Prem.
Yeah. Right, I'm gonna skip through a few names because I'm guessing we're saying that we're gonna keep them, or they maybe go out on loan. But Benny Beningime, for me, he goes out on loan. I'll give him a year out on loan. Championship club or the bottom of the table Premier League club. Do you both agree?
Yeah, loan.
Yeah. I wouldn't get rid of him.
Dennis Adrian, again, he's another player that I'd love to be seen given a loan. I would have liked to have seen him in an Everton shirt this season based on our midfield, but for me, he goes out on loan to a championship team to get that experience, because I think he is going to be a top player potentially.
Yeah, the club value him quite highly, don't they, I think?
Yeah.
And I don't know if he got a new contract sorted for them, pretty sharpish, didn't he? And I think he's going to come good, but like you said, he needs the experience like Holgate did.
Yeah.
Come back a different player. The under-23s, for me, it really pisses me off.
Yeah, it does.
We're not progressing enough for me.
Yeah, I agree there. I had someone I was talking to the other day with my mates, Michael Knowles and Paul, and I was saying, the kids should be in, Benigamy should be in, Adrian should be in instead of Davis, instead of Sigurdsson. But as they pointed out, who was the last person to come through the under-23s? Are they really that good to come up and dislodge your Davises? Because if they were, Unsworth would be knocking on Carlo's door, and they're not. And I think that's with a lot of players, that is their level at the under-23s.
The step up is astronomical. It's a different ball game, the Premier League, to the under-23s. You've got under-23s there that might lose a contract at 18, 19 and have a trade the next week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
this one's a stay for me just because we've seen absolutely nothing of him. Is Jean-Philippe Gabarmin. He stays, but it's only because we haven't seen anything of him, and I don't think he's going to be fit to sell him, so he's got to stay.
Ben?
He said himself, didn't he? I'm not fit when he first came.
Yeah.
Silva threw him in at the deep end. I think I've read a story that against Watford, when we won the 1-0, he was begging to come off after 65 minutes, saying that he was done. He was knackered. And I think he just got thrown in at the deep end. Against Palace, he looked a bit dodgy, but again, he's not match fit. He's been on a break for a while. A few people are following Twitter. You've got a few like L pivots.
Yeah.
That's how you pronounce it.
Yeah,
he gives good insight to footballer. Scout United. They give all the, and they spoke really highly of him. I haven't seen him previously. I don't know what to expect. He could be the next Prime Vieira. We don't know. But for me, keep. And I hope he's fit. I wish him well. He's a bad luck. Hopefully he comes back and he's a bit of a power. Bit of a decory potentially, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I think before he come to Everton, apparently he hadn't ever really had a bad injury. He had a little hamstring niggle every now and again, and he come to Everton, as you say, got him through straight in. But the surgeon did say that was one of the worst injuries he's ever seen from a footballer. In my opinion, I will keep him for next season. But if he has the same bad luck next season and we don't see enough of him, then we probably do have to be arsey about it and say, well, we're going to have to come to some sort of agreement, because if he's not doing it by next season, then he's not going to do it.
Yeah. Here we go. Oh, the last name I wanted to mention in our midfield. Right, before I say this name, right, this is nothing against the fact that this guy is born and bred Evertonian. He loves the club, but he's not good enough. And unfortunately, I've said this for 2.5 years. Tom Davies is never going to be a player that is going to get you in the top 4, top 6, even in the top 10, in my opinion. So for me, if an offer came in from someone like Burnley, like Villa, he goes. Right, you two, off you go. I'm getting a drink. You crack on.
Tom Davies, for me, I think he's had one good game in an Everton shirt, which was really outstanding. That was against Man City. He never, ever progressed from that performance. I think he's not going to improve. What you get with Tom Davies now, that's it. That is it. He's never, would you get your topper level clubs coming after you, Tom Davies? Would he get into any of their sides? No. And that's where we're aspiring to be. We want to catch Chelsea, we want to catch Arsenal, we want to catch United next season. Tom Davies wouldn't get in any of them teams. So for me, I've said all along, he is a championship player at best. I think he's that poor. I think, and when we bring quality in the midfield, which, let's be honest about it, we're probably going to, I don't think he'll get a sniff.
No, I agree. Sell all day. He's living off that Man City game, like you said, John. You look at these young players and they've either pace, power, intelligence, passing, technique. I've seen nothing.
No.
And we can't have players like that who probably wouldn't get in the likes of Burnley's team.
Yeah.
We probably wouldn't get in them sorts of teams who are above us.
Yeah.
Annoyingly. Southampton below us, we've got Ward-Prowse, Hojbjerg, other players. He would not get a sniff, and so he shouldn't be playing for Everton. I don't even think alone is going to do him any good. There's no natural flair for me. You look at your Holgate, there was something there.
Yeah.
Look at Mason Mount, there was something there. He's brilliant, gets on the ball, gets stuck in. Tammy Abraham's another one round his age. Went to Villa, scored loads of goals. Championship at best, like you said.
Stood still.
The thing with Tom Davies, and I'll end it on this. The thing on Tom Davies is, genuinely, his close ball control is fantastic. His close ball control reminds me of Leon Osman. Very nice close control. Leon Osman scored a screamer against Sunderland, took on the entire team, scored a fantastic goal in a 7-1 win. Tom Davies has really fantastic ball control, but he doesn't score as many goals as Osman. He doesn't defend. He doesn't do as much. And you know, Osman was a workman player, and if Tom Davies was half the player Osman is, I think we'd be fine. But he's just not. So yeah, for me he goes. Let's move on to the loan players before we go out and talk about the strikers. I'm gonna fly through these, Ben. So I literally just want one word from you.
Go on.
Yannick Bolasie.
Sal.
Yeah. Jonas Lossell.
If a player's coming in as number 2, sell. But if not, keep.
Yeah, agreed.
Kieran Dowell.
Sell.
Yeah, sell.
Yep, sell. Mohamed Besic.
Sell.
Sell.
Do you know what? I know Michael wants me to hurry up and not talk as much, but I think he would, if he could have been able to allow to have played since the football started, I think he would have done a job in the middle for us.
He probably couldn't have been worse than Tom Davies.
No, but you know he's got to go. He's got to go.
Yeah. Matthew Pennington. I think isn't he gone? Yeah, he's gone, isn't he? Also, yeah. Sandro Ramirez.
Oh fucking hell! Almost £20,000 a week.
I know. Fucking hell. It makes me feel sick. That does.
He was bought off YouTube. He had to be.
He was the one I was like, he scored that pre-season friendly against Seville. I was like, he's going to fucking bang every week this country. He's a fucking top-notch player. And he just let me down so much.
Oh, fucking brilliant. Right then, the last player that's on loan, the one look, I'll say it as it is for me, I don't think he cuts it in the Premier League. I think he's a very capable defender, but I just don't think he's physically capable in the Premier League, and that's John Joe Kenny for me. So I sell, but I understand that a lot of people may disagree with that opinion.
Yeah, I sell, to be fair, as I said to Ben before, when you were getting I think when you were getting a drink, I might not been. It's an easier league over there, and if he can't do it there, and he's making stupid mistakes there, then it'll happen in the Premier League. He's not good enough for me, I don't think.
I think when the German Football League came back on, we all tuned in to watch Schalke, have a little nose, and he was making the same mistakes he made at Everton. Caught out at the back. He balled that one ball behind him on the 10. He's out of position.
Yeah.
Is he a right wing back in a 3-5-2 more instead of a right back? Who knows? But for me, I'd be selling.
Yeah.
And he is a player that might command a bit of a fee. You know, 10-15 million quid. He may command that.
Yeah.
Or can he?
No. Right then. So let's talk about. So we'll talk about the front obvious two. We'll fly through them because it's obvious what we're going to say about them. Richarlison and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, they both obviously stay for me. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, though, I do want to see more out of him. I think we're seeing the old Dominic Calvert-Lewin at the minute, the one who's got a bit of a sloppy touch, the one who's sort of coming back when he has the opportunity to maybe turn and shoot on a sixpence. He doesn't do it. Richarlison, for me, is the more natural-born striker. So both stay, but I do want to see a bit more out of Dominic.
You build a team around Richarlison.
Yeah.
No question. He is. I've seen how Bretland did a thing saying how many goals Lukaku scored compared to Richarlison, and people say we haven't replaced Lukaku, but probably have. But Richarlison is doing the statistically scoring the goals.
Yeah.
He is brilliant, superb. Stay on his feet a bit more, but unreal for me.
I don't think he falls down as much as what he used to as well. Don't get me wrong, he still does it too much for my liking, but he's not as bad as what he was. Totally agree with you, Ben. Build the team around Richarlison. He's happy at Everton by all accounts, you know. He's been sniffed around by other clubs, but he hasn't pushed for nothing. He said he's happy, he wants to stay. For me, you build a team around Richarlison.
That day is going to come, and I think all Evertonians know it. Year or two, they are going to come knocking on the door for him, and he is just. I hope maybe then we can go out and spend big, but he needs to stay. He's superb. Like you said, Michael or Calvert-Lewin, been a bit sloppy since lockdown. I haven't seen the hold-up play like he was doing before, bringing others into the game. But he's young. He needs to make those. He sometimes shoots when he should pass, sometimes passes when he should shoot, but he's still a kid. They're still kids at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The pass and shooting, as you say, that'll come with experience, won't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right then. Fucking hell. We'll go with the easy one. Anthony Gordon, he stays.
Yeah.
Moise Kean, for me, he stays. I do think he could leave. I'm not going to say he won't leave. I think he may well leave. It wouldn't surprise me if Juve or Milan or it'll be an Italian side coming for him. And if we got what we paid for him, I'm not going to begrudge him his move. But I do think there is real talent there. What do you think, Ben?
You look at that Newcastle game at home, and I thought, fucking hell, he's back. Here he is. Here's Moise Kean. Powerful, quick. He looked like he had a point to prove, and I thought, here we go. He looks fucking shit hot.
Yeah.
His first touch isn't as good as I thought, but I think at Juventus he used to run onto a lot of balls.
Yes, he used his
pace.
pace.
Play like a 4-3-3 he used to play. He was a bit like a left wing forward, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And the ball slipping behind, and he's quick. He is quick, and he's got natural ability. I'd be keeping him because I want him to come good. I'm desperate for him to come good.
Yeah.
He's had times with that now. He's had that bit of a shit first year. Get stuck in the summer and mix it around up in the squad next year. He needs minutes, but he needs to prove himself. Hopefully he gets 19 minutes against Bournemouth and we can see him have a go at their defence.
Yeah. I mean, if you was on paper, if you said to me our front three is Richarlison, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and Moise Kean, who was voted in the top 10 best young teenagers in the world, you know, I'd have a boner. Like I'd be fucking ready to go. I'd be jumping on John's missus. But the facts are, it hasn't worked like that, and he hasn't played. And yeah, I mean, for me, he gets that year. He does get that year. John.
Well, I've spoken to you quite a bit over Moise Kean, Michael, and for me, he does get another year. It worries me, and I know we haven't seen a lot of him in Premier League games, but what worries me is he's still not getting picked to start. Now, obviously, he has a wrong attitude in training. He's not impressing Ancelotti in training to get picked to start. I've seen all the games, obviously, he's played in, and I don't know whether the Premier League for him, you know, because listen, the training for the Premier League is different to the training in Italy. It's faster.
Yeah.
So obviously he's not pulling any trees up in training to get picked. Would I want him to stay? Yeah, because I think there's potential there. As Michael says, he was voted in the top 10 young teenagers. But I think we'll see the best of Moise Kean if we get that midfielder who can play them balls through that.
Yeah.
And we haven't got anyone like that at the minute. We've got Gomez, obviously, but he hasn't been doing that. So for me, stays another year.
Yeah. This is where me and John have this debate, because he mentions Moise Kean attitude quite a lot, and I do get why he mentioned his attitude, but I always say to John, I would be pissed off if I was a £28 million signing and I can't get on the pitch for 10-15 minutes. You know, we saw it with Lookman, and I do get the frustration of young lads simply wanting to play football, and it's not a bad thing to be frustrated about. So I think John's right. I think next year is make or break for Moise Kean in an Everton shirt. I really do.
Yeah.
Right, let's go on to again. We've been on this video almost an hour, so we'll fly through these last four. Theo Walcott. He
stays for me.
Well, I'm the opposite. He goes for me because I just think I think it would be easy to replace Walcott because I don't rate him that highly. Yes, he's the only player with a bit of pace. Yes, he's the only player who will get in behind and make that pass across the box. But I don't necessarily think Ancelotti's going to set up like that next season. Hence why I'm not too asked if he goes.
Well, we are after a right winger, so I think Theo Walcott's future does hinge on if we get that right winger in. As you say, I think he's, apart from Richarlison, Richarlison can play up front. So if he's the only winger that we normally have on the pitch with Bernard over the other side as well, he probably gives us more than any other winger, obviously apart from Richarlison if he's up front. So for me, I will keep Walcott. Whether he'd be happy being a squad player if we bring that winger in, I don't know. But for me, he stays.
Fair enough. You seen the other night when he played, we looked better with him in the team. I don't know why. I don't know if he works a lot more on the right than the likes of the Iwobi. I would keep him on with John on this one. He scores a few chips in here and there. I think he offers something different, but like you said, it's a difficult one. It is, and I think many people's views will change on that.
Yeah. Alex Iwobi, he's got to stay, but I have no idea why we signed him. Like, he is. I said this in a video. I said that I said last year that Marcel Brands had let Marco Silva down with his summer recruitment, not doing it early enough and not bringing in players to replace Zuma, replace Garner, and to bring in that winger. He never did it, and we ended up with just Iwobi on deadline day. For me, he's got to stay, but I literally, if an offer come in, I'd drive him there.
Yeah, I think, to be honest with you, I think that was a panic buy by Marcel Brands to bring him in. What was it? Was it 24? Was it 30 million? Was it
28 million rising to 35?
This is what we've pointed out. I know it's not that sort of video, but what we and Michael have said is we should be going after players who are consistently playing for other teams above us. And be bold, be brash, put cheeky bids in, put a bid in for Mane. We're not going to get him, but you see what I mean? But we're going after players who aren't playing consistently. And for me, Iwobi, as I agree with Michael, if someone put a good enough offer in, he goes for me.
Yeah. I don't know if he went to that West Ham game earlier in the year. He played as a 10 in that Sigurdsson role, didn't he? He played better as a 10 than he is a winger. Yeah. But apparently his stats on... I don't follow these XG stats stuff.
Yeah, I do.
But apparently he's all right statistical-wise, but I just go off what I see on the pitch, and I don't think he's good enough for me. If an offer come in, I'd sell him, but I don't think it is.
I don't think an offer will come in anywhere near what we paid for him. That's the thing. I think if we got an offer for him, it'd be like a Jordan Ibe offer of 12 million quid or something, and he's just shit. Yeah, he's just fucking shit.
Yeah.
Bernard, I love Bernard. I love his work rate. He's just physically not strong enough for the Premier League, and that was my worry when we got him. But bearing in mind, we got him for nothing and we just pay a massive chunk of wages. Anything's a bonus to me. So if we sold him, I'd be happy.
I think I've said this many times. He reminds me a bit like Anders Limpar, Bernard. Great on the ball. He's got that turn of pace. He can go past people. I think he doesn't score enough goals. And I think his final ball can let him down as well. Stay or keep, depending on who we bring in. But I don't think he'd be happy just as a squad player, Bernard. Does he go? I think he stays.
Yeah, I'd keep Bernard. I'm with you, Michael. I like him, but since the lockdown, he's another one. He's obviously panic attack, has mental health issues, which I think we recovers from, and all best wishes to him. We don't want anyone going through any struggles or anything like that.
No.
But he hasn't. When we first got him, he got the ball. He was doing mad movements, getting past players. I haven't seen that for a while. And I don't know. I just want him to progress. I'm desperate for him to do well, but I'll keep him, and I hope he can fit into Carlo's plans next year and he can bring them on somehow, because Carlo likes to bring the wingers in to go inside to create space for the overlapping fullbacks. He could do well doing that, but it's up in the air for me.
Yeah, he does that better than Walcott for me, and that's why Bernard probably stays. But if we did get a decent offer, I'd sell, and Walcott would go. That's the reason, to be fair. Last player, Cenk Tosun. For me, he's injured again. I don't know what. Sometimes when Tosun has the ball in the box, he's got power. He's got that little bit of skill. He's got the ability to score goals. He just doesn't do it. And I remember a couple of years ago, I made a comparison to his stature and his style of play, and the same as Harry Kane's. And how wrong could I have been? It's literally like comparing a grape with a fucking apple. So, for me, I sell him. I don't know if we can get rid of him because he's injured, so our foot knows.
Listen, he certainly knows where the goal is when he gets the chance, but, he hasn't done it consistently enough. He's constantly said he wants to stay at Everton and fight for his future. Not being funny for the wages he's on, that's why he's saying that, and there's no other reason apart from that.
Yeah.
So for me, if we can get rid.
Yeah, for me, sell. He's shite. Don't like him. Don't think he offers anything going. I just don't like the fella. He was good under Sam Allardyce, but that shows you everything. He's sell all day. There's links back to Turkey, Fenerbahce, Besiktas, but he has to take a wage cut. Is he going to? I fucking wouldn't. I'd be sat there on 80 grand a week. I
think that's why he's doing it.
Yeah, I think the only way Everton will get rid of him is if he goes to Turkey and Everton prepared to say we'll pay 4 years of half of his pay or something. That's the only way it's going to happen.
Yeah, I agree.
Right. We're literally just going to fly through potential signings then. We all know about Hojbjerg. We'll move straight on to Hojbjerg. Is he signing? Has the bid been accepted? Has it not been accepted? Is he going Spurs, Everton, fucking Lazio, Inter Milan? Fuck knows. Hojbjerg for me is a player that is probably better than what we've got, but it's not difficult to be better than what we've got. And Hojbjerg doesn't pull up any trees for me. I'd rather have shown a bit more ambition. And funny enough, if we're going to get that type of midfielder, I'd rather have Alan. What's your thoughts, Ben?
Hojbjerg, he is a good midfielder. He's Southampton's captain for a reason, or he was their captain for a reason. He did quite a bit with Bayern Munich. I know he was a kid, but he was part of the squad. He's bringing that winning mentality. He will be that worker. He's like the six that will win the ball back.
Yeah.
I think what's gone on is we've agreed a fee, but he said hang fire. Let me see a Spurs. He wants Spurs. He hasn't said he doesn't want to come to Everton, but he wants Spurs, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Now, will we double it? He's on 50 grand a week at the moment now. Will it be 80, 100 grand a week at Everton, and we can afford to pay him that?
Yeah.
25 million, between 25 and 30 million, it'll be with add-ons, won't it? It's a lot of money, even after this COVID stuff, isn't it? Let's be honest. But he's Carlo's first choice, and if Carlo wants him, I will back Carlo, and I think we might get this one over the line.
25 to 30 million for someone who's got 12 months left on his contract. But, listen, after speaking to you over the last couple of days regarding Hojbjerg, you probably pushed me over the fence now to decide that I want him to stay. It was probably a stupid comment to come out with. But I think what you mentioned and what you've just mentioned there, I think he could be the player to bring the best out of Gomez as well.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So, for me, I'd be happy with Hojbjerg. At the fee, it's a high fee. But listen, if he's Carlo's number one, as you say, who's to argue with Mr. Ancelotti?
Yeah, he's a big admirer, apparently. We went after him in January too, didn't we? And he got knocked back to the bus. So they want him. They must see something to future systems that they want to get it done. So for me, I'd be happy with him.
He's only young as well. 24, is he?
24, yeah.
Yeah, he actually started playing for Bayern Munich, or he left Bayern Munich the summer Ancelotti joined. So Ancelotti's wanted to work with this kid before. So, look, I mean, he is a good box-to-box player, and he is better than what we've got. I just think it's a lot of money for a player who's only got 11 months on his deal left, really, personally.
Let me just go and get a charger.
Yeah, you crack on, mate.
So what John's trying to call me is a wolf, and he'd be right. So.
Yeah, well, I'm the fucking same.
Listen, I seen John Collins' house when he played for Everton, and it was absolutely fantastic. He lived on Shaw Road in Caldy, and oh my God. I delivered to his house when he used to drive a security car. Amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
Ben was the landlord at the time. He was paying Ben's rent.
Ben was living in the back room. That's the back room.
Right, let's talk about positions we need to strengthen then. So every single one of us knows we need a right back. I'm going to go with the right back that I would love us to sign. Obviously, this is just a name out the air. The right back I would love Everton to go after is Max Aarons from Norwich. He's the player that, yes, he hasn't got that European experience. Yes, this is his first season in the Premier League, but I've seen enough from him to think, yeah, this kid's really good. So for me, I'd go for Max Aarons as my right back.
I'm going to let Ben talk about players who potentially could come in or who he wants first, because I'll go straight into the Max Aarons one. I would like Max Aarons there. I think there's probably potential that we could get that deal. I don't know.
It's a lot. It all hinges, doesn't it, on the John Joe Kenny saga. People aren't going to be. They might have Kenny back to the back door for Coleman for the 1 year. If the offer comes in, Everton will sell John Joe Kenny. If they meet their valuation, he'll go. Yeah. But I just can't see anyone coming in with that bid. I think pre-COVID, Schalke might have, but I just don't think they can afford him now. Max Aarons will be my number one choice. I've said that on Twitter. I've said it all the time. I think he's great. His name's being mentioned. Tete from Leon. Yeah. Again, the statistical sides of him apparently really good. I don't know much about him, but I do not want Dallo. No. United, shite, utter crap. I'm fed up of signing. Good team, shite. I'm done with it.
He won't be.
Exactly.
That's what I said before, wasn't it? We're getting players who aren't playing consistently for other clubs, you know.
Yeah. Will we get 12 to 15 million for Kenny? No. We probably do need to strengthen right back, but is it a priority if Kenny stays? I don't think it is at the moment.
No, that's fair. Right, where else? He spoke about a centre-back, hasn't he? Ancelotti, he spoke about a centre-back. Now, it's a difficult one for me because I've been really impressed with Branthwaite, so I really don't know if you do bring in another one personally, but he must not trust either me now or Michael Keane for him to consider bringing one in, because I know he likes Holgate and I think he likes Branthwaite, so it's a difficult one for me. We've been linked with a few: Thiago Silva, Magalos, the lad who also was on loan at Lyon, at Schalke with Kenny, Todibo. For me, if Everton was going to sign one, I'd want Magalos out of that. He seems a ready to step up to Champions League sort of level centre back, but I'm a bit confused by wanting a centre back. What do you think, Ben?
The Gabriel deal was a funny one. Back in Feb, he came over, didn't need to see Finch Farm. It's a fact. He came with their partner's medical.
Yeah.
Fee was all agreed, and that was their number one choice. 30 million euros. Now, what happened post-COVID? Everton said, we don't agree with that now. We think he's more 20 million euros. So obviously it's created this big, well, what the fuck gone on with the deal? We wanted to, before we were all done and dusted, personal terms all agreed.
Yeah.
Now, I want Gabriel. I'm with you. I don't watch much French football, but I speak to people on direct message in the Everton community on Twitter, and they've all reassured me that he's fucking shit hot.
Yeah.
And with the names like PSG now floating about for him, Napoli, he can't be that much of a shit centre-half, can he, really?
No.
Left-footed, quick, powerful. I want that over the line, but will it? I don't know. It's up to if we can resolve this fee issue, I believe.
I think, to be honest with you, I think if he comes in, I think we could lose a centre-half, and I think it could be Big McKean. You know, I think he was linked with Burnley, wasn't he? He was linked with Top as well, Michael Keane.
And Newcastle.
And Newcastle. I think if we bring a centre-half in, I think we're going to lose one. I'd like Magalas. I've seen a bit of Todibo when he's been on loan from Barcelona. I think he's been over to Schalke as well. Gabriel's the one for me out of the Todibo and Magalas. But I agree with you, you know, the deal seems to have fell on its arse at the minute, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's just arguments over fees. You can probably respect Leo's decision and say, well, hold on 1 minute, you fucking promised us this back in Feb and fucking gone. So it's a difficult one. But like you said, Todibo doesn't look to me as good as the others, but he's natural, he's 22, isn't he? He's young, he's a young kid. And the other one throwing it, Tyrone Mings with the Daily Mail, didn't I? I think that's a little shite, to be honest. I don't think that's legit at all.
No, I'm all
easy link to Everton, that.
Yeah, it always happens. Steve Tyrone Mings or Lascelles from Newcastle, we always get linked with one of them. Yeah, the other one we've been linked with is Thiago Silva. Obviously, he's leaving PSG, hence why Magalos all of a sudden looks like it could be a move to PSG. Would you take Thiago Silva on a 1-year deal?
Go on, John, I'll let you go.
Well, listen, me and Michael were talking about this when we first linked with him. Can you imagine having Thiago Silva at Everton Football Club? I think he's 35, 36. Looked after himself. He's played for some of the biggest clubs in the world, but it's gone quiet. It's gone really, really quiet to Thiago Silva. Would I have him at Everton? Yeah, because I think he'd be absolutely brilliant for Holgate. I think he'd be brilliant for Branthwaite as well. So I would have no problem bringing Thiago Silva in for 12, 18 months.
Yeah, I agree. I'd love him in. Apparently defensively minded, he's one of the best out there still. Yeah. But I believe PSG might be doing a U-turn, pretty sharpish, potentially. And trying to get him back. But who knows? Let's see. If we can get that one done, I'll be made up. But I can't see that.
Yeah,
I can't see it. He'll want 200k plus a week probably as well.
Oh yeah, fucking hell. Be mega money, be enough to fucking pay him, mate.
Not too bad, is it? If you get him for nothing, it's still a big wage. But if you get him for nothing, then for someone who's going to bring Holgate and Branthwaite on leaps and bounds, I think Everton would pay it. But as you say, whether it happens.
Yeah.
You pay one player though, do the others want the same?
Well, you're seeing that issue with Spurs, aren't you? You're seeing that issue with Spurs when they pay Harry Kane so much and all of a sudden the rest of them. Arsenal done the same with Ozil. It's a shit situation to get yourself into. Well, let's just... I think he spoke about one more position then, which is a winger.
Alan.
Alan, but I think the Hojbjerg rumour puts Alan to bed, personally.
Yeah, I'd love both of them. We get both of them, brilliant, but I can't see it.
Yeah.
I can't see it.
I agree. And the thing is, I've said this. I want a midfielder who's going to score goals. I think it's something we've lacked since the Arteta Cahill days and Osman chipping in. I look at our midfield, and I think the centre of our midfield have scored 2 goals this season.
Not good enough, is it?
But Alan or Hojbjerg. Hojbjerg scored 10 goals in 4 years for Napoli. It's not enough.
Alan.
Yeah, Alan, yeah. And then Hojbjerg hasn't scored or chips in, I think it maybe gets 4 or 5. So I'm alright with Hojbjerg. I just want more goals in the centre of the park, and that's where I worry. Especially if we're bringing in Alan, Hojbjerg, we've got Gomez and Gabarmin. I'm still not seeing tons of goals.
No, you got like Decore, Weston McKennie linked, Sangar from Toulouse. I don't think we're linked with this Sangar, how you pronounce his name.
Yeah.
He's available, but they came out today to be financially need to sell.
Yeah.
Toulouse. But again, the XG stats people it says he's brilliant. Yep. So, and I do. A lot of people said he's brilliant and available for the right price. Now, I think we need 2 central midfielders. I'm with you. We haven't got a goal scorer in centre mid. We'll have to 6 if Hojbjerg gets over the line.
Yep.
It's up in the air, isn't it? If it's 50-50, but I think it might do.
Yep.
But Gomez is your luxury player. We need that box-to-box midfielder. Just go and score your goals from central midfield. Ship in every now and again.
Yeah. Clubs, they've all got one, haven't they? You know what I mean? They've all got one.
But Chelsea have got 3. Mason Mount, Loftus-Cheek and Ross Barkley. They all score goals from the centre of the park. So I do think Everton need one. Let's just quickly then go on to a winger then. So we've been linked with a winger. It's obviously we need one. It's difficult for me. Do you know what I could say? Genuinely, and it sounds a bit stupid. I could see Everton putting in like an £8 million bid into Watford for Deulofeu if they go down.
I think that's it.
I wouldn't want him. I'm just saying, if Ken Wright has any power over transfers, it just wouldn't surprise me if he fucking walked in and said, "Let's go and sign him again. Let's go and have him back."
I don't think Ken Wright has any say in transfers anymore, to be fair.
I fucking hope not.
I don't. And so you mentioned Watford, Michael, but why would we go for a Decore who's not playing hardly at all for Watford and from a team who are getting relegated, you know? And we've spoke about this. Decore, I think there's much better out there for the right wing. 8 million. It's exactly what you say. 8 million. You pay for what you get.
I'm going to throw a controversial one out there, who I think I personally want, and that's David Brooks from Bournemouth.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. He's been injured this year. The scouts, he's from Warrington. He's an Everton fan. Last year he was unreal. He had a bad injury this year, but he just creates for me, and I think he'd be brilliant at Everton. He's the kind of player I think we need to go for.
He strikes me as the sort of player who is one of those fleet-footed players, can play anywhere along the midfield, in the centre, on the wings. You know, Grealish, a Todd Cantwell, Brooks is in there. All of those sort of players can all do that sort of role across the middle and play in almost a 4-2-3-1 and basically roam in midfield. He is a great shout, he is, Ben. He really, really is. I mean, John doesn't even know who he fucking is, but me, absolutely highly rate him on. But Ben, he's going to cost, I mean, I know Bournemouth have just gone down, but how much is he going to cost? 20 million?
I reckon around 20 marks, surely.
Yeah.
Surely.
Yeah.
I don't even think we're at the moment interested, but the scouts watching, you had Leon Bailey scouts to him, which again, I don't think it's going to come off. No. The scouts obviously did go, but I don't think the Leon Bailey. So I think someone like City going to come in for him, bigger club. You're going to have the Everton Souls rumour flowing out. The agent's going to throw out another fucking article probably next week saying Everton are interested again. And then you'll have the Italian media saying Lozano. So,
yeah, I know you mentioned, is his name McKennie?
Yeah, Weston McKennie, yeah.
Yeah, well, I haven't seen much of him. What do you like? Is he centre midfield?
Centre mid from Schalke again. There's a few people, Ryan Williams, I think he's one of the lads on Twitter, he watches a lot of German football. He's saying he's not ready up for it.
He doesn't fill me with confidence.
Yeah, he's another young guy, isn't he? But he said, I don't know much about him, to be honest, so I can't really comment, but I go off what other Evertonians say, so...
Yeah. I'm just going to throw one name in there, because I think we're coming to the end of the video now. Me and Michael spoke about him a lot. I'll ask you, Ben, the chances of Everton going for him, and the chances of Everton getting him, Jack Grealish?
Very, very slim, I think. I don't think we've got that much of a fund to go for players like that. Yeah. I think if the Sancho deal falls through United, I think they'll go for Grealish.
Yeah.
I think he's United bound, to be honest.
Yeah.
He's 50-60 million pound player, and he plays centre mid on the left, on the right. I'd love him. I think he's perfect for Everton, but he's just too much, I think.
We should have signed him 2 years ago. We should have signed him 2 years ago. Right, is there any other players you want to mention, Ben, John, anyone?
Well, there's another, Dennis Bouanga, is it, from Saint Etienne?
Yeah.
There's a few articles going around about him, and I think that our scouts looking at him, and he's available for 12 to 15 million.
Right.
That could be, he's loads of assists this year. He could be a possible player that we might potentially go for.
Yeah.
He's a right winger, chips in, so potentially.
Yeah.
We've mentioned the right wing. We're not linked with we're linked with a lot of centre halves, aren't we? We're linked with a lot of central midfielders. We know we need a right wing, but we're not mentioned with that many right wingers. It's hard to come by. You think about it. It's loads of central midfielders, loads of centre halves. Your wingers, they're not just to go out and get, are they? You know what I mean?
It's getting top wingers, that's your issue. Getting top wingers. I mean, we were linked heavily with Zaha last year, and he's a ball-carrying player, can chip in with goals and assists. But again, I think that boat sailed last year. You know, if we were really in for him last year, I think we probably would have got him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that boat sailed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that boat's gone now, I think.
Yeah. Right, so guys, look, I'm pretty much done. Thank you ever so much, Ben, for coming on. You've been so much more better than John. Like, really, really.
No, I appreciate it, lads. Honestly, it's been good. Have a little chat with the Blues and that. It's good to just get out and discuss opinions and that.
Yeah, exactly.
Anytime you want to come on, Ben, you're more than welcome on here. We had Michael Ball on a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if you've seen that video. We had Michael Ball on.
I watched all your videos, though. I laughed like saying to Michael before you came after having a shit. He said,
That's nerves. That was nerves. The nervous shit. I used to be like that in November, honestly, God.
It's because you were scared. You fucking hell. The amount of times he sent me messages about you, Ben. He's like, oh, fucking Ben. Oh, Ben, friends, Ben. I'm sitting there thinking, fucking hell.
I actually called me Giroud, Michael, you cheeky bastard.
Hey, I'm telling you right now, Matt, you're the best looking person in this fucking stream, aren't you? Let's be fair. I mean, there's more Giroud in you than there is in me and John, who look like Mr. fucking Blobber.
He's the best looking lad on fucking Twitter.
I'm telling you now, right? Now he said Giroud, I'm gonna where this box is over me. I'm gonna have a picture of Giroud, and everyone can fucking tell me how much you look like Giroud.
Tell you what, Michael, I'm going to put it out there. I know it's recording, but if Ben's that much good looking, can you imagine what his missus is like?
Oh, absolutely.
Fucking hell,